Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing great. Today I'm going to show you the latest collection from OPI, and that will be their fall collection called San Francisco, and that is inspired by the city of San Francisco in California. And there are 15 colors. 3 of them are the liquid sand texture ones, and the rest of them are regular nail polishes with different creams and metallics and shimmers. So stay tuned if you want to see the swatches of all of these colors. So the first color is this kind of chocolatey, like toffee nut brown, and this one has the name Appears to be Tan. This one has a really creamy finish, and it's a really great opacity on one coat, as you can see. Really great, actually. So there you have one coat of Appears to be Tan. And coat number 2. This is not really necessary for the opacity, but it's going to give you a longer lasting color. It's going to stay on longer and better onto your nails. And there you go. There you have 2 coats of Appears to be Tan. This chocolate toffee nutty brown. And next up is this like reddish brown, kind of like a loaf of bread somehow. And this one has the name I Need Sourdough. This one is a lot more on the shimmery side. And shimmery colors tends to have a little less opacity than just cream finishes. But just 2 coats will fix that. And there you have one coat. And coat number 2. This really makes a big difference on this shimmery color. It kind of has a little bit of a metallic sheen to this color. And here you go. Here you have 2 coats of this reddish brown I Need Sourdough. And next up is this ruby, kind of a ruby red. And in the bottle, it looks like a creamy, not matte, but doesn't look shimmery at all. And this one has the name First Date at the Golden Gate. This is a really true red with really good opacity. Of course, to get the density like in the color you want, a second coat. I hear so many people telling me about not using a base coat and just one coat of their color and even not a top coat. And it's my job, to do nails, and I'm like, you have to do that. It's gonna help it both to protect your nails from staining and so many other things. But anyways, here is one coat of this ruby red First Date at the Golden Gate. And coat number 2. As you can see, a second coat deepens the color slightly, but it's making it look even better. This is a beautiful ruby red. I really like this color. Here you have 2 coats of this ruby red First Date at the Golden Gate. And next up is another red color. This looks a bit similar to the one I just showed you, First Date at the Golden Gate, which is that one. But this one is darker and it has a bit of a brownish tone to it. And this one has the name Lost on Lombard. You can really see straight up when you first get onto the nail that it is darker than First Date at the Golden Gate. So if you really love your reds, you're probably going to love them both. But I would say you don't have to get both unless you're a huge fan of red nail polish. and you want the different tones because this is darker. But here you have one coat. And coat number 2 doesn't really make a big difference, a little difference when it comes to opacity, but it deepens the color a little bit. But here you can see 2 coats of the color Lost on Lombard, a beautiful deeper red. And here we have a sparkly shimmery magenta with kind of this speckle of this cold toned gold sparkle in it. It's a really interesting color. And this one has the name Embarcadero. I must say this is really shimmery onto the nails, and it looks a lot lighter onto the nails than what I thought it did in the bottle. Like I said, I think it's a really interesting color in a good way. I really like it actually. So here you have one coat of this magenta color, really shimmery and pretty. And coat number 2, this makes a difference when it's a really good opacity on one coat, but it's kind of a sheer color on one coat. But when you apply the second coat, you see it deepens the color slightly and gives it a perfect opacity. This is really beautiful magenta. And here you have 2 coats of Embarcadero. This really pretty, sparkly, shimmery magenta. Next up is this Plumage Purple Burgundy. It looks like a cream polish. That will probably be wonderful to work with. And this one has the name In the Cable Carpool Lane. And also when I saw this, I was thinking, is this a dupe to the Anti-Bleak from the Mariah Carey collection? And as you can see, it is not. This one is a lot more purple and a lighter, colder toned. This one is more of on the burgundy side with a more plumage tone. So you can rule that out. And also I was wondering about this one from Casino Royale from the Skyfall collection. And they are kind of close. I don't know if it picks it up on camera, but this one is a little lighter and a little different in its tone. So I wouldn't say it's close enough to be called a dupe, but they are kind of similar. So if you have this one, you might not have to get this one, but that's completely up to you. They're both beautiful and a little different toned. I really like these dark kind of tones, and especially for fall, and this is a fall collection after all. So it's really suitable. On one coat it looks a little bit streaky, but of course it depends on how much you put onto your brush. But you see, I got a lot here now and I need to get some off. It's better to do thin layers than, and maybe 2 or possibly 3 depending on the color, than doing thick ones. It's going to take longer to dry and it's probably not going to be as neat. So here you have one coat. In coat number 2, I can tell already that this is going to make a big difference since it was a little streaky and not wonderful opacity on one coat. You can see the difference there. It's a huge difference actually. These kind of deep colors especially, they tend to be, you have to work with them. But of course it depends on the color and how great they cover. But here you have 2 coats of the color In the Cable Carpool Lane. This deep plumage burgundy. Next up is this kind of plum color. It's really deep and very metallic-y and shimmery. And as you can see here, you can see the shimmer going from the little metallic balls that runs around in here. They are making tracks. And this one is the name Mirror on the Wall. This is a really interesting tone. When I see it onto the nail and in the bottle, I think it's kind of interesting that it can look so different. It's very sheer and it kind of looks like a grayish tone. And when you move your nail, it's like the shimmer is a little bit plum, but it's not what I expected it to be. But let's wait and see for the second coat to see if it's gonna cover any better. It was a little bit hard to work with. Let's see. Very streaky on one coat, I must say, but you can see the shimmer here. So here you have one coat, and let's see if it's better on the second coat. And now coat number 2, and let's see if this makes it any better. It really does, and now you can see that the plum is coming out a lot more. It kind of looks like a grayish black with some shimmer of this plumish color. It looks a lot better, very much better on the second coat, as you can see, at least in my opinion. Now I think it's a really beautiful color. And here you can see this really deep plumish color. And this is 2 coats of the color Mirror on the Wall. And here we have this kind of metallic, holographic, a little bit holographic, and with the tones of sage and eggplant. It's also a really interesting color, and it's going to be fun to see what this one looks like onto the nail. And this one has the name Peace and Love and OPI. So this is going to be interesting. As you can see, when you see it onto the nail, at least with some polishes, it really makes a difference. This one is a little bit streaky on one coat, but second coat will fix that. But I think this is a really cool color, and this one works all year round in my opinion. It's kind of like a petrol, like an oil stain. You can see that? It's really cool. Here you have one coat, and coat number 2. And there you go. Here is the color Peace and Love and OPI, 2 coats. It's really pretty actually, very metallic. And next up is this kind of an icy blue color, and it's very shimmery, like a metallic tone to it as well. And this one has the name Dining al Fresco. Here is a metallic color with really good opacity. First, straight up. It's really pretty metallic, very shimmery blue, like in sky blue somehow. And here you have one coat. And coat number 2. And there you go. Here you have 2 coats of the color Dining al Fresco. It's icy blue, really pretty. And next up is another blue color, and I think this is like a mix of royal blue and like Superman blue. It's really pretty, and it has the name Keeping Suzy at Bay. And this is kind of a cream color, but it's a little streaky on one coat. It could have been have more opacity on one coat, but 2 coats will fix that. Here you have 1 coat. And for the second coat, this really makes a huge difference, and it's a really easy color to apply. Just glides on smoothly. And I love when you just get the right opacity and you don't have to work too much with a color to get the right opacity. But this one is really beautiful blue, and this one here you can see 2 coats of the color Keeping Suzy at Bay. And here is another, though deeper blue. If you see them in comparison, it's quite a big difference. This one is like, it's a really dark one. I think it might appear look lighter into the camera. We'll see what it looks like onto the nails. It's like this black blue, really dark blue. And this one has the name Incognito in Sausalito. So let's see how this one is on. Oh wow, really great opacity. You can see that. But 2 coats is definitely needed. And yes, it really is a really deep blue, kind of like a black blue. Perfect for the fall, since this is the fall collection. And there you go. Here you have 1 coat of this black blue. In coat number 2, this really deepens it even more. And there you go. Here you have this really deep black blue Incognito in Sausalito, 2 coats. And here you have a really metallic, shimmery silver gray. This one is absolutely beautiful, and let's see how it goes onto the nails. And this one is the name Haven't the Foggiest. This one looks like it's gonna have great opacity, and booyah, that was correct. You can really see, like when you see the density of the color onto the brush, or like when you open the bottle. This one is really beautiful. I love it. There you have 1 coat of this silver gray metallic. In coat number 2, makes a little different, slight difference, not that huge difference since it's so opaque on 1 coat. But it's a beautiful metallic color, and here you have 2 coats of Haven't the Foggiest. This really metallic, sparkly silver gray shimmer. I love this color. 2 coats. And that was all for the 12 regular polishes. Now we have reached the liquid sand polishes. There are 3 liquid sand polishes in this collection. And the first one here is like this top brown, cold tone top, like a hazelnut. Really interesting color, and it's going to be fun to see what it looks like because it doesn't have any shimmer, so it's going to be matte. And this one has the name It's All San Andreas Fault. So the first coat here, pretty good opacity, and you can feel that it's slightly grainy. As we know that the liquid sand polishes are, that's the texture that they have. And here you have one coat. You can see the liquid sand, like the sand grains in it. And coat number 2. I think it's a really funny color, and we're gonna see what it looks like with the liquid sand effect and this matte color. It's gonna be interesting. I think these are nice colors for summer, but I'm sure you can pull it off in the winter time or fall as well. Here you have one coat, and I will be right back to show you what it looks like with the liquid sand effect. And here you can see what it looks like with the textured dry effect. So 2 coats of the color. It's all San Andreas's fault. And the second liquid sand polish is a blue color, and it's also a matte color. And this one is kind of a mix of these 2 colors, Keep Suzy at Bay and Incognito in Sausalito. It's kind of like a mix of these 2 colors. It's lighter than the dark one and a little bit darker than the light one, so something like that. And this one has the name Wharf Wharf Wharf. So let's see here. You can see straight up the liquid sand grains here too. So you can understand what it's gonna look like. Pretty decent opacity on one coat. And some people have been asking me if these are hard to work with, and they are not. It's just like applying any regular nail polish. And here you have one coat. And coat number 2. This really made a big difference in opacity, and it deepens the color pretty drastically. But it looks different when you see it wet and when it has the liquid sand textured finish. So there you have 2 coats of the color Wharf Wharf Wharf. But I'm gonna be right back to show you what it looks like with the liquid sand effect. And here you can see what the nails look like when they have dried and they have the textured liquid sand effect. I think it's really nice. I love this liquid sand polishes. And last but not the least, this is actually my favorite of all of the colors. And this is also a liquid sand, and it has like this really glittery, shimmery polish, and it has tones of purple, tones of gold, little tones of blue. It's beautiful. I love this color, and it's a really cool liquid sand polish as well. And this one has the name Alcatraz Rocks. So let's see here. This color was the first one that really caught my eye, got my attention. I thought it was just so beautiful. And if you want to spice it up, I mean, you could use it as the liquid sand, of course, or you could top it with a top coat, and you could always mix. You could put top coat over parts of the nail or just on some of the nails. You know, the variety is endless depending on your imagination and liking. So here you have one coat of Alcatraz Rocks, my favorite. And coat number 2. This really deepens the color and perfects the opacity. Oh, it's so beautiful. I just really love this color. And here you have 2 coats of the color Alcatraz Rocks, and I will be right back to show you what it looks like when it has dried, and you can see the liquid sand effect. And here you can see what it looks like with the textured dry effect of liquid sand. I love, 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 love this color. It's just so pretty. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these swatches. My favorite color is, as I'm sure you understood from the live swatches, is the liquid sand polish Alcatraz Rocks. And it is this gorgeous liquid sand polish with tones of purple, blue, and gold, and maybe something else too, but it's really, 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 really pretty. So that is my absolute favorite from the entire collection. And I do also like, let's see, this one, Ambassadria. This was a really interesting color. It is like a magenta, but it's like a red magenta, really interesting, but very pretty color. All of these colors, this collection will be out in August. So August they will be out in stores, and this is for the fall. So I hope you like the swatches. Take care everyone, and I will see you soon again. Bye bye.